Good, y'all. It's Classic MMA here, and today I'll be bringing you my full card breakdown for UFC 323, Merab vs. Peter Yan 2. So without, waiting too long, let's get into it. Kicking off the card on the early prelims, we got Muhammad Naimov vs. Myron Santos. Pretty interesting featherweight fight here, honestly. For the first, prelim of the card, it's actually pretty good. We got Myron Santos, who's this, really good kickboxing prospect, who even though has one of the worst builds in the UFC, I'm telling you, this dude got like that Kelvin Gastelum build at 145. He's 3-0 in the UFC with some really nice. He's a nice kickboxer, and just picked up the win over former ring contender Sadiq Yusuff by decision. Kind of a boring fight, but you know, showed he knew how to. And at 25 years old, he's actually pretty good. Then we got Muhammad Naimov on the other side. He's also really good as well, being 5-1 in the UFC. And at the start of his career was a bit of a brawler. Had that KO over Jamie Mullarkey, but he's became more of a technical striker recently, who just does enough to win. And he also has a sneaky win over Nathaniel Wood, who just beat what's his name, Jose Delgado. And Nathaniel Wood's kind of like ranked level, so that's a pretty good win for Naimov, just despite the fouls. So for my final prediction, I'll be picking Myron Santos by decision. I just think Myron Santos is way too good for on the feet for Naimov. And unless Naimov is just able to consistently use his wrestling and take down Santos the whole entire fight, which is something he like, who is Muhammad Naimov taking down? He's a striker. Like, I just don't think he's gonna win this fight. I think that Myron Santos will pick himself up a nice, technical win on the feet. And you know what? I think minus 250 is probably fair, 76%. I agree with that. Give me Myron Santos by points. Kicking off for the second early prelim of the night, we got Monster Abdul Malik versus Antonio Tricoli. Monster Abdul Malik is actually this pretty interesting young middleweight prospect at 28 years old. He's 2-0 in the UFC, with both being huge first round KOs over Dusko Todorovic and Nick Klein. He's coming off that weird fight versus Cody Brundage, where he essentially knocked out Cody Brundage, but he was able to fluke it into where it was a decision, and Malik won by decision. But then Cody Brundage overturned it to a no contest by, I don't know. Cody Brundage has to have dirt on the UFC or something. We cannot be letting him get away with this. Still, Abdul Malik's very interesting though. Then on the side of Antonio Tricoli, I mean, I won't lie, Tricoli's awful. He's terrible. I mean, he's 0-2 in the UFC. Got KO'd by Shara Bullet and he got subbed by Tresean Gore. Tresean Gore's out here getting out kickboxed by freaking Rodolfo Vieira. And you expect me to think that this guy is good? Like, no. Alright, for my final prediction, this is way too easy. Give me Monster Abdul Malik by first round KO. It's a pretty straightforward fight to predict. Malik isn't 1,000 favorite for a reason, and he should be able to put out Tricoli, who's really awful. I feel like Tricoli is just gonna get lazy and get caught on the chin pretty quickly. So give me Monster Abdul Malik by first round knockout. Next fight on the card, we got us a banger here on the prelims. We got us Ibo Aslan versus Iwo Baraniski. I think that's how you say it. Ibo Aslan. He was actually into the UFC with some hype. He was low-key like, dude, you don't want to mess with Ibo Aslan, dude. He got these 2 first-round KOs over Anton. I've never heard of that guy in my life. I don't care from a casual. I don't care. And then Rafael Sequeira, when he was undefeated. So got 2 nice KOs, and looked like he was going to be pretty good in the UFC. Then he somehow got subbed by Ian Cutelaba. I mean, hey bro, I love Ian Cutelaba, but I mean, you're getting subbed by Ian Cutelaba. Like, you get KO'd by Ian Cutelaba, I kind of get it, but subbed? That's awful. And he now just lost in a boring fight versus Billy Alicano, where he just stood around at him and stared at him like, I don't know, like stared at him like romantically or something, bro. I don't know. I got some interesting energy from that fight. Like, they started hugging each other in the middle of the fight. Like, I was not into that, bro. Bottom 5 fight I've ever seen in my life. And then on the side of Iwo Baraniski, we got a really interesting Polish fighter out here. One of the more interesting fighters coming off this Dana White Contender Series season. He got an insane KO over this undefeated BJJ guy who was a decent favorite to actually beat Bereniski. And I mean, Bereniski has a near 100% finish rate in his 6 wins with only one fight going to decision, which he also won. And he's one. Ivo Bereniski, he's fun to watch, man. He just walks in there and swings violently. He's trying to put you out. So for my final prediction, this is another very clear fight to pick for me. I got Ivo Bereniski by round 1 TKO. I just I do not like how Ostlin has looked in his last 2 fights. And I just think that Ostlin loses this fight no matter how he fights. Whether he goes in there and brawls like he used to and gets caught and KO'd by Bereniski, or if he stays tentative, sitting on the back foot like he did versus Elikano, and eventually Bereniski just overwhelms him with pressure and breaks him. So either way, should be a quick KO win for Iwo Bereniski. Excited to see this guy. Next fight, we got us quite the weird matchup here. Who would have thought we'd see Edson Barbosa and Jalen Turner fighting in the great year of 2025? So Edson Barbosa, I mean, he's a former top 5 contender who everyone loves. Had a ton of sick KOs back in his day. He's kind of settled into his place though now as a veteran. He's starting to look slower recently, as he looked really bad in this loss for Drakkar Klose. Like, he didn't look too bad against Lerone Murphy, but I mean, he got schooled by Drakkar Klose, which Drakkar Klose is not that good. You should not be getting schooled by him. And seems to only just have a few minutes of really high level striking before he just kind of gasses out and does nothing for the rest of the fight. Then on the side of Jalen Turner, this is a special man right here. He is the definition of a parlay killer. You never know what you're going to get from this guy. He's clearly talented and is a top 5 level fighter, as he's beating guys like Bobby Green violently. And then he's having split decisions, close fights with Dan Hooker and Mateus Gamrot. If I can find those, yeah. So you got a split with Gamrot and a split with Hooker is not bad at all. But recently he's just became unmotivated. I mean, you look at that Moicano fight. He legit had Moicano basically out, and he decided not to follow up with ground and pound, and eventually ended up getting KO'd himself with the ground and pound. Like, that was just awful, man. And then the Ignacio Bahamondes fight, which was 8 months ago, where he just walks in there. Basically, he puts himself in the triangle. He's like, just sub me, bro. I don't want to get KO'd, but I want my money. Just sub me, bro, please. And lets Ignacio Bahamondes sub him. It looked like he lost on purpose. And then said, I'm done. At 29 years old, this dude said, yeah, I'm retired. I'm done. Like, I hate you. But after, 6 months later, because let's be real, not a soul believed this man was retiring at 29 years old. Buddy, you were the number 14 ranked lightweight. I don't imagine you made enough money to be able to just retire from the UFC. And guess what? Now he's back. So for my final prediction, this fight is actually weirdly hard because you got washed Edson Barbosa, but you also have Jalen Turner, who I don't know if I mean, this guy has a 14-9 WMMA record. I don't know. This guy legit has the Angela Hill record of males MMA, and he's only 30 years old. Like, I don't know. I just see my final prediction though. I'm gonna go Jalen Turner by round 1 KO. This just seems like a fight set up for Jalen Turner to win. It seems like it's set up for him to come back in the UFC, motivated, and pick up a big win. They're giving him Edson Barbosa, who has some name value, and was still ranked at featherweight literally last year. Don't know why, but is at a pretty bad state of himself. Turner should be able to finish with the. If Turner just comes in here even kind of motivated, he should win this fight very easily. Give me Jalen Turner by round 1 KO. Then for our next fight, we got Marvin Vettori versus Bruno Ferreira. Our first ranked fight at the card. Which is crazy. We have a ranked fight on the early prelim. Shows how stacked this card is. And we got an absolute barn burner here with Marvin Vettori versus Bruno Ferreira. Marvin Vettori is just the ultimate version. Like, he's the ultimate veteran of the UFC middleweight division. He's been ranked forever at this point. And I mean, he's just fighting, and he's fought nearly every ranked middleweight. Beats some, loses to some. Loses to a lot, but hey. Obviously, Vettori isn't really all that skilled. He's not that great of a striker. He's not a good grappler. But there's one thing that he has a granite chin and cardio. Which make him a threat versus any young, fighter who thinks they're just going to put him out in one round. It's not happening. And then on the side of Bruno Ferreira, we have one of the best unranked fighters on the roster. Has an 100% finish rate. He's never even seen a decision in his, 16 fight career. He's never seen a decision. Has insane KO ability and has also shown a submission ability too, coming off back-to-back subs of Armin Petrosian and Jackson McVeigh. The only thing to really worry about for Bruno is his cardio, as he gassed pretty badly in this Abus Magomedov fight. So for my final prediction, I'm going me a sneaker. You know what? I still believe in my boy, bro. I'm picking Marvin Vettori by decision, bro. We love Marvin Vettori around here. If you don't love Marvin Vettori, click off this video. I don't want you here. Extremely tough fight to pick, though. I'll say that. But even though Vettori's on a 3-fight skid and is just kind of getting beat up lately, I just think that Bruno Ferreira is going to gas out after a round and a half, failing to finish Vettori. Vettori has a granite chin for a reason, and I think that Vettori will just be able to out volume him and win a decision when Ferreira's gassed. Give me Marvin Vettori by decision. Alright, for my next fight on the card, we got us a sick fight here. We got Faris Ziam versus Nazim Sadikov. On the side of Faris Ziam, my bad. You have this incredibly technical striker who's on a 5-fight win streak and has a couple of decent wins, including Matt Favola, who he brutally chinned. Which, I mean, yeah, I know it's no chin Matt Favola, but he was in the rankings a couple years ago, and he also beat Mike Davis, who's really good too. On the side of Nazim Sadikov, you have one of the funnest fighters on the roster. He's always looking to brawl, and well shows to have a sus chin as he almost got finished by Nicholas Mota. Like, you're getting almost finished by Nicholas Mota, but seems to have it in him to always come back. Sadikov's 4-0 in the UFC, and he's getting a big step up for Ziam, which he probably earned. Now for my final prediction. I'm going Faris Ziam by decision. It's another close fight, but I just have to go the more proven guy here in Ziam. I think he should be able to outrange Sadikov on the feet and just be a lot better than him, like he's a technical striker. So give me Faris Ziam by decision. Alright, next fight we got us some WMMA. Hooray! Woohoo! This is a real man's fight right here. It's what real men sign up to watch. On the side of Macy Barber, we have Macy Barber's coming off having a seizure during the walkout for a fight against Aaron Blanchfield, and because of that, decided not to fight, so we didn't get a main event that night. We got stuck with Gamrot smudging Klein as our main event. Thank you, UFC. Or not, thank you, Macy Barber. Thank you a lot. And made it so there was no event. And no matter how I may feel about Macy Barber doing that, she is good. She has a nice karate style on the feet, and hasn't beat that many high-level opponents. Is only 27 years old and looks promising. And then on the side of Karini Silva was a bit of a WMA prospect before losing to Araujo, and is coming off this absolutely despicable decision win over Dione Barcelo. She was legit controlled for the whole fight and somehow still won that decision. Silva, she's not bad though. Decent striker, okay grappler, nothing too special, but So for my final prediction, I mean, I gotta go Macy Barber by decision. This is a pretty easy fight to pick. I wouldn't call Barber necessarily a world beater. I don't think she's that good. She loses to most of the top 5 in the flyweight division. She just is kind of good enough to beat a kind of mid-level ranked contender in Silva, who just really isn't all that good to be honest. Give me Macy Barber by decision. For the next fight on the card, we got an absolute banger on the prelims. We got Terrence McKinney, T-Rex versus Chris the Problem Duncan. Alright, I'm done saying nicknames. That was corny. Terrence McKinney. I mean, Terrence McKinney is just the definition of a kill or be killed fighter. He's either putting someone out cold in the first 3 minutes, as we've seen against all these guys, or he's getting put out cold like here. It's a very simple pattern with, Terrence McKinney. Either if you can't survive 3 minutes with him, then you lose. If you're able to survive 3 minutes with him, then you come back and knock him out. Or sub him. Like, Terrence McKinney in 24 MMA fights has never seen a decision, which is just wild to me. That means all 7 of his losses are by finish, with 5 by KO. Like, that, Terrence McKinney is truthfully, I mean, he's just something else, man. And then we got Chris Duncan, who's another really entertaining fighter to watch. Has really good submission ability. We saw with those 2 straight guillotine chokes over Belagioki and Jordan Vucenic. And also has punch power. As he just watch back that Rebeski fight, dude. Rebeski's face was bleeding from every single side of it. I'm not joking. Like, Chris Duncan actually put the beats on him. Like, he beat him up like crazy. That was an absolute war, though. So for my final prediction, I think Chris Duncan's good enough to last around with Terrence McKinney. And I just think, even though it's kind of a coin flip, is McKinney might just walk in there and shin Duncan, who's definitely shown some defensive issues. I mean, look at that Contender Series fight against, what's his name? Charlie Campbell, where he basically got 10-7 and then came back and got the knockout. Or the fact that he got knocked out by Slava Kalaz on Contender Series, but I just think he has enough power to be able to solve the puzzle of Terrence McKinney, I'd imagine, and get the KO win in the second round. Give me Chris Duncan by a second round TKO. Now for our main event of the prelims, we got Grant Dawson versus Manuel Torres. Grant Dawson is, one of the best wrestlers in the lightweight division, and he's really great at controlling people. I mean, he has a 10-1 record in the UFC. The only thing that really holds him back is his questionable stand-up. Like, as we saw that weird loss to Bobby Green, and his other loss in MMA is a 30-second KO. So his striking defense and just in general, his chin, none of that. It's not good at all. But his wrestling has been good enough to basically beat pretty much everyone else he's fought in the UFC. And he seems ready to go on a run. Then you have Manuel Torres, incredibly fun fighter. He has insane power with an 100% finish rate in the UFC, and is just insanely powerful with his hands. He's 4-1 in the promotion, with his only loss being that KO loss to Ignacio Bahamondes, which, it's just a nightmare matchup for Torres. It's a guy who has insane power on the feet that can actually match his power, so it's just a bad matchup for Torres. And then since then, though, he picked up the big knockout win over Drew Dober, so good on him for that. So for my final prediction, really, really close fight here, but I think I'll slightly lean Grant Dawson by decision. I don't know if I can really trust Dawson's stand up at all, as I've seen this man chinned out cold by Bobby Green, but I also think Torres has just never fought really a good wrestler ever, at least one to the level of Grant Dawson. And I think that'll be the deciding factor of this fight, and Grant Dawson will pick up a clean win controlling Torres on the floor, maybe even getting a sub. So give me Grant Dawson by decision. For kicking off our main card, we got Jan Blachowicz, Polish Power, versus Bogdan Guskov, everyone's favorite mob boss. I mean, Jan Blachowicz is a former champ that everyone loves because his Polish Power. I mean, even at 43, he still seems to got it. I mean, he's top 5 in the division. I mean, he arguably beat Carlos Zolberg in his last fight. This was low-key a robbery. I low-key thought Jan Blachowicz beat Carlos Zolberg. And now Carlos Zolberg is a top 3 contender in the division. He's going to be fighting for the belt probably soon. And yes, Jan hasn't won in a couple years, but that doesn't mean he's washed. I mean, this dude's lost to Carlos Zolberg, which wasn't a loss, a robbery, and then lost a split decision. A current light heavyweight champ, legit a top 15 fighter ever in Alex Pereira. He lost by split decision. And then a draw with Ankalaev, which you could have argued he won, which is crazy. So, Jan Blachowicz is not washed. He still got it at 43. On the side of Bogdan Guskov, we have this incredibly fun fighter who's just on a 4-fight finish streak. I mean, he fights like a complete goof. Finds a way to nearly lose every fight before coming back. Makes him mad entertaining, though. I can't wait to see what Guskov's going to do in this fight. For my final prediction, the age difference may fool you into picking Guskov, but Blachowicz still got it, man. I'm picking Jan Blachowicz by decision. I just think Jan Blachowicz looked really good against Carlos Zolberg, who's really good. And I think that Jan Blachowicz should be able to mix in takedowns, which is, the only loss Guskov has is a submission loss to Volkan Oezdemir. I don't think Blachowicz is going to sub him, but he should be able to take down and control Guskov and mix in his very nice stand-up to beat Guskov and show Guskov levels, Give me Jan Blachowicz by decision. Second fight on the main card, we got Henry Triple C Cejudo versus Peyton Talbot. I mean, Henry Cejudo, he's a UFC legend, Olympic gold medalist, and former double champ. Kind of tainted his legacy though by he retired in 2020 while being a double champ at 3 years old, I think, 32, and then came back 3 years later. And since then's lost 3 straight fights where he didn't look that bad in any of these fights, but I mean, still kind of tarnished his legacy by coming back. Then Peyton Talbot. I mean, Peyton Talbot was the UFC's biggest prospect when he was coming off that big KO win over Cameron Simon and Giannis Gamori. Before, the biggest fraud check we'd ever seen in UFC history by losing to Ronnie Barcelos as an 1,000 favorite. I'll say, though, that loss actually hasn't aged that badly, as I do think Ronnie Barcelos is like a top 10 bantamweight on the planet. Like, if the UFC were actually willing to push Barcelos and give him a couple ranked opponents, I think he'd actually beat them. Talbot's kind of, he's reignited that hype, though, coming off that big win over Felipe Lima, which he won not by striking, but by out-grappling Felipe Lima and controlling him and beating him up with ground and pound. Like, Peyton Talbot's back, man. So for my final prediction, this is a simple one. I got Peyton Talbot by round 3 KO. I just think Cejudo is done by this point of his career. I mean, he's basically saying he's going to retire after this fight, which is never good to hear someone say they're going to retire after a fight. That means they have 1 foot out of the door and they're willing to leave. They're done with the sport. I just think Talbot's going to look incredible in this fight. He's going to have a huge size advantage. Cejudo, it may have him listed at 5'4". He was like 5'2". Talbot's 5'10", so he's going to size mog him. And he's also going to hit. He's one of the hardest hitting bantamweights in the history of the sport. So yeah, I don't know. I think we're going to see a couple of competitive rounds. As Cejudo's still pretty good on the feet, but I just think Talbot's going to continue the hype train and find a big KO in the 3rd round. Give me Peyton Talbot by round 3 TKO. Now for our featured fight on the card, Brandon Moreno versus Tatsuro Taira. On the side of Brandon Moreno, we have the first Mexican UFC champ. Had an insane quadrilogy with Figgy. All insane fights. Please watch those fights if you haven't seen them. Before losing the belt to Alexandre Pantoja. Since losing the belt, though, I mean, this was arguably a robbery versus Royval. He arguably should have won this fight. And then he put the absolute beating on Amir Albazi, broke the significant strikes record, and then beat Steve Erceg, who had a close fight with Pantoja. Like, Brandon Moreno still got it. And then we got Tatsuro Taira, this incredible young Japanese fighter at 25 years old. I mean, he has a 17-1 record, with his only loss being to Brandon Royval by split decision. I mean, he's an incredible grappler, Tatsuro Taira here. And once he takes your back, you're done, man. Like, his sub ability is insane. Like, and while his striking isn't great, it looked a bit improved in his last fight as he actually showed some power, dropping Hun Sung Park, who isn't the highest level guy on the planet, but was undefeated at the time, and Taira dropped him bad and nearly finished him. Well, I mean, not nearly. I mean, he did finish him. That was nasty. So for my final prediction, this is a near 50-50 fight, as Taira's ability to backpack someone is insane, but I just have to go Brandon Moreno by decision here. I just have to go the former champ in his prime. I think Moreno will be able to sting up Taira on the feet and avoid getting taken down, as he has some underrated BJJ, and potentially get himself another title shot, honestly, if Van wins or however it goes. Give me Moreno by decision. Now for our co-main event. I made a 7-minute video about this if y'all want to check that out, but truthfully one of the highest level fights you'll see in MMA this year. On the side of Pantoja, we have the second best flyweight ever, going on his 5th title defense, who has amazing grappling and submission ability, and while his striking isn't the best, it can be very chaotic and pressure heavy and hard to deal with. Then on the side of Joshua Van, man, oh, my heart's beating. My fault. We have maybe a generational talent, as at 24 years old, this kid just beat Brandon Royval, the #1 contender, on 2 weeks' notice in one of the best fights in UFC history. Van is truly an incredible boxer. I mean, maybe the best in the UFC. He has a really good takedown of defense, and his ability to sprawl is really nice too if you watch the Ray Saruga fight. So for my final prediction, man, this is tough. Like, you got the defending champ, the guy who's subbing everyone, beating everyone, and then you have Joshua Van, this 24-year-old generational talent, young, amazing. Man, you know what, man? Call me biased all you want. I'm doing it. Joshua Van by decision, baby. You call me crazy, but I'm gonna for picking against one of the greatest of all time. But I truthfully just think Van is generational and has something none of Pantoja's other opponents have. I think Van's counterpunching is gonna make it hard for Pantoja to pressure him and shoot. And even when he does shoot, I think Van has an incredible ability to sprawl. And he's gonna be able to sprawl off takedowns and stop Pantoja from taking him down. And the one thing that I think wins Van's fight, honestly, is Pantoja. Granite chin, don't get me wrong, his granite chin, but he has terrible defense. He leaves his chin up and high for the whole world to hit. Like, I think Van is gonna be able to land a ton on him, out volume him, and win a decision. Give me Joshua Van by decision. Then for our main event, we got Merab versus Peter Yan 2, unfortunately. Alright, Merab. Now we got our main event between Merab and Peter Yan. On the side of Merab, we have the Bantamweight GOAT coming off he's going for his 4th title defense with his unhuman cardio and is coming off wins over Corey Sandhagen, Sean O'Malley, Umar Nurmagomedov, and also 50-45 Yan 2 years ago. Like, Merab's incredible, man. On the side of Yan, we have this fighter who was thought to be unbeatable when he won the belt off an older Jose Aldo before the DQ in the Sterling fight would change everything, change the timeline for Yan, ultimately leading to him losing 3 fights in a row. But since then, he's come back and is now on a three-fight win streak of wins over Song Yadong, Davison Figueiredo, and Marcus McGee. And while Yan isn't this world beater that he used to be, he still got it, and he's still an incredibly dangerous technical striker that you shouldn't count out. So for my final prediction, man, this is so easy. I'm picking Merab Dvalishvili by decision. I have to be honest. I just think this will go the exact way as the first fight. As Yan, don't get me wrong, he's one of my favorite fighters, and I pray he wins. This Merab is so boring, man. And I hate Merab. He's boring as dirt, but I just feel like Yan always spends the first round downloading data, and usually loses the first round before coming back. You can't do that against Merab. Merab's always going. He's spamming takedowns. He's even learning to strike a little bit now. He almost finished Corey Sandhagen on the feet. Like, I just think it's going to be too much for Yan, and could even see Merab getting a submission here. But I'll be smart, and I'll say that he wins by a dominant decision. Give me Merab Dvalishvili by decision. So overall, that's my full card. Let's run back down through everyone I'm picking. Scroll down, please. Alright. I got Myron Santos by decision. Monster Abdul Malik by round 1 KO. Iwo Baraniski by KO. Jalen Turner by KO in the first round. Marvin Vettori by decision. Zion by decision. Macy Barber by decision. Chris Duncan by knockout in the second round. Grant Dawson by decision. Jan Blachowicz by decision. Peyton Talbot by round 3 into KO. Brandon Moreno by decision. Joshua Van by decision. And Merab Dvalishvili by decision to end off my picks. Anyways, if y'all like this video, maybe hit me with a subscribe, trying to grow this MMA channel. We're going to be big one day. I'm telling you. Peace out.